Hi! I forgot what I say next. My name. Wow, I forgot my own name. Woo, pandemic brain. Hi, I'm Nadine Thornhill, Sexuality Educator. A long time ago, I did a video introducing the concept of sex positivity. You can go back and watch that video. I will link it in the magic eye and down below. In that video, I explained that sex positivity is a framework that really informs the work that I do as a sex educator. And in that video, I also explained that I was really just scratching the surface of sex positivity and what it meant. Today, I want to scratch a little more. This apparently is me scratching. I want to scratch a little more, just dig a little bit deeper and get into some of the nuance of what I mean when I say I'm sex positive, or more specifically, what I don't mean when I say I'm sex positive. And you should know that to a certain degree, this is my interpretation of sex positivity. A lot of sexuality educators and sexuality professionals do use some sex positive framework, but there's also a lot of diversity in how each of us understands sex positivity and how we apply that to our work. So these are based on my own interpretations and things that I do not do or do not believe as a sex positive sex educator. Being sex positive does not mean that I believe that sexual experiences, relationships, activities, expression, etc., I do not believe that these things are inherently good. I definitely don't believe that these things are inherently bad. I believe that the reality of human sexual experiences exist on a vast spectrum from traumatic to transcendently beautiful. As a sex positive educator, I want people to have access to information that will help them minimize sexual experiences that are sad or scary or disappointing or dangerous or exploitative or humiliating or dehumanizing. And as a sex positive educator, I want people to be able to maximize those sexual experiences that are fun and happy and pleasurable and prosperous and body positive and affirming and safer and healthier, etc. And as I mentioned in my original sex positive video, something that I recognize as a sex positive educator is that what people need to have those sort of thumbs up sexual experiences or have, a positive relationship to their own sexuality is going to vary, and it's different from person to person. There is no such thing as a one size fits all, this is how to be a good sexual human solution. Being sex positive does not mean that I am against abstinence. I already did a video about sex positive abstinence, and then more recently, I posted a sex positive guide to abstinence on my Instagram. So if you want to watch that video, it will also be in the magic eye. And if you want to see the guide, then follow me, IG Styles at Nadine Thornhill, and you will find it in my feed. Broadly speaking, I fully support people's choice to not have sex. And I also understand that sometimes people find themselves in situations where they can't have sex, and you may have whatever feelings you have about that, but you're still like a valid human being. What I don't support is abstinence only education. Abstinence only education is incomplete, and given that statistically most people will have sexual partnerships and sexual relationships at some point in their lives, abstinence only education leaves a lot of people unprepared to navigate that aspect of their sexuality. On a related note, I don't believe in teaching abstinence as a safer sex strategy. So for example, if I was giving a workshop about safer sex and ways to reduce your risk of pregnancy or STIs, I would not mention abstinence, because to me that's sort of like if I was a driving instructor and someone said to me, well, what are ways that I can reduce my risk of injury if I were in an accident? And I was like, well, you could just never get into a car. I mean, it's true, but that's not what people are there to learn. They're there to learn about like seatbelts and how to drive when it's rainy and airbags and like not drinking and driving. So I don't think about it as a safer sex strategy because that's just not having sex. Finally, as a sex positive educator, I do not make general pronouncements about what sexual choices are the best. So you could say that because of my profession, I have a lot of access and experience and familiarity with certain types of sexual knowledge. What I don't have is anybody else's lived experience. I have never been anyone except me, Nadine Thornhill. And the thing is that lived experience is such a critical consideration when folks are making decisions about their bodies, about their families, about their relationships, about their identities. And because I don't have experience with that piece, and I will never have the experience that they have living their own lives, I can't say to somebody, or I can't say, generally speaking, this is just the best decision and this is what everybody should do in this circumstance when it comes to sexuality. Sometimes I do personal consulting and coaching with individuals. And if you and I were in a coaching session, I would certainly listen to what you had to say about your lived experience. I would offer information. If you asked for advice, which people often do in coaching sessions, I would offer my perspective. And if you were open to it, I might gently suggest, certain options or ideas that were a little bit outside of your comfort zone or outside of what you were familiar with. But what I would never do is say to you, this is what you need to do. This is the choice that you need to make. Because ultimately, you're the one who has to live with those choices, and ultimately, you are the expert in your own life. Unless I think somebody is doing something that is abusive or violent, I'm not gonna say to them, do this or don't do this. It's also the reason that you are unlikely to hear me say things like, hey kids, if you're gonna have sex, always use a condom, or this is age appropriate, because sometimes a condom isn't right for a certain sexual situation. And the fact that someone is 7 or 17 or 70 in and of itself doesn't tell me a lot about who they are, what they're going through, what they're capable of understanding, or what is relevant to them. For me, being a sex positive educator is a lot about recognizing people's uniqueness and individual needs when it comes to sex ed. And it's something that I've certainly gotten better at the further along I've gone in my career, but I also recognize that there's so much room to grow, and it's something that I'm going to be learning and a skill that I'm going to be developing for the rest of my career and the rest of my life. Because human sexuality is complex and nuanced and, as I said, very specific to each person, I have this amazing opportunity to grow and develop with each new person that I meet and work with. And I don't know who I'm going to work with next. It might be you. That's all for now. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.